Today I will show you how to play this board game called Janggi, also known as Korean chess. So as you know, like usual chess games, the object of the game is to checkmate your opponent's king. Well, in this case, it is generals actually. So if you look at this board, if you're familiar with Chinese chess Xiangqi, you might probably go, oh yeah, this look more like Chinese chess, but actually it's not entirely like Chinese chess because there are several differences in this game from Chinese chess. And you could notice the difference. The pieces are in different sizes, yeah, well, pretty obvious. And they're all octagons instead of circles like in Chinese chess. And also, for instance, the red side here are all Chinese characters like Chinese chess. But on the green side, you notice that they're a little different. It's like some of them are simplified or cursive, whatever. And the red side is used in traditional Chinese characters, while on the green side, it uses the simplified Chinese characters. Well, except for like the soldiers are the same as Chinese chess, but if you notice on both generals, the Chinese characters are a little different from Chinese chess as well, just to make it officially Korean. Alright, let's get into the rules, get into the movements. And as you know, the generals, they actually move one space along the line, in any directions on the lines. And like Chinese chess, they can never leave the fortress. Doesn't make sense? So, but actually, unlike Chinese chess, the additional move for generals, they can actually move along the diagonals of the fortress, as you see. But if there's not a diagonal line like this way, you can't just move there, you have to move along the lines like this. And the advisors, like the guardians of the fortress, as you know from Chinese chess, they actually have the same movement as the general. So I'll move this out of the way just to give an easy view. They also move along the lines of the fortress one space at a time. And again, just like generals, they can never leave the fortress. So those three pieces always have to stay in there. Other pieces can go threaten other pieces outside or inside the fortress, they don't care, but those three, they always have to stay in there. So, in Korean chess, both the generals and the advisors have the same movement to each other, since they always stay inside the fortress. Alright, let's get to chariots. Chariots as rooks, very easy, they just simply move like the rooks, any number of spaces, vertically or horizontally. Right? And it's the same as in Chinese chess. Well, except they have an additional move I'll explain later. And this one is a horse or a knight. And they move the same as in Chinese chess. One space along the line, then one space diagonally, like that. It's like the knight's move. And just like Chinese chess, horses can be blocked as well. So, let's say that this piece is right here, the horse cannot move to this point because this piece is blocking its path. Unless this piece moves out of the way, then this horse can move to this point. So just like Chinese chess, horses can be blocked. Okay, so horses move exactly the same as in Chinese chess. No difference at all. Now here is your elephant, right? However, elephant's movement is way different from Chinese chess, and I'll show you how's it different. So, they move one space along the line like the knight, yeah? But they actually followed by two spaces diagonally. So it's like the extended knight's move, isn't it? One space along the line, followed by two spaces diagonally. Wow. If that's the case, they can now move into possibly anywhere in any spots in the whole entire board, rather than limited, because if it's 2 spaces diagonally, that means you have a limit, right? But if it's 1 space along the line, then 2 spaces diagonally, it means you can move anywhere in this whole entire board. So that's the elephant move. But like the knight, elephants can also be blocked. So firstly, I moved my elephant 1 space along the line followed by 2 spaces diagonally. I get to the point that my piece is directly in front. I cannot move my elephant to capture this piece or this piece. But however, I can move sideways 1 space and then 2 spaces diagonally like that. And I can do the same on the other way too. Or else if this piece is right here, I can move forward 1 space and then 2 spaces diagonally to capture this enemy piece, right? How about this one? No, I can't, because if I move 1 space along the line, that's free. But if I move 2 spaces diagonally like this direction, this path is not clear, so that's why I cannot capture this enemy piece. So elephants can also be blocked just like horses. Now, just like Chinese chess, Korean chess also has cannons like these. But the difference is, in Korean chess, the cannon needs exactly 1 intervening piece just to make a move. So if I move my piece over right here, my cannon can jump over and land onto any of these vacant points. So it's like almost like a rook, but needs 1 intervening piece just to make a move, or even capturing, just like in Chinese chess. Alright, so let's see, for example, if I want to capture this enemy piece, yes, you can jump over and capture. However, if it's like this situation, of course you cannot capture this piece because it's jumping over 2 pieces in a move, so you can't do that. Unless the piece moves out of the way, then you can capture. However, you know, you can't just start out like in Chinese chess and go, oh yeah, I'm just going to move my cannon right here and start threatening pieces. No, you can't move the cannon on your own just like in Chinese chess. You need another piece just to make a move, so let's move a horse right there. And now the cannon's able to jump over and move right here. Okay, so for cannons in Korean chess, always need 1 intervening piece just to make a move or to make a capture. However, there's 2 special rules that applies to cannons, is that a cannon cannot jump over another cannon. So let's say, oh yeah, this green cannon's gonna jump over this red cannon and capture my horse on the first move. Nope, you can't do that because that's considered to be an illegal move. And another rule is that a cannon cannot capture another cannon. So let's say if I actually move my piece right there, and it allows cannon to jump over this piece and capture my cannon. Nope, you can't do that either. So it means that cannons are invulnerable to each other. Very strange, right? Cannot capture another, cannot jump over another. And let's say here's the limit. So the piece moves over here. The cannon jumps over this piece and able to land on here, or to here, or to here, but cannot land on here because can't capture or jump over the cannon. So that's what cannons do in this game, Korean chess. And now the last piece of the game are soldiers. They're like pawns, right? So they just move 1 space forward or 1 space either side. That's right, they can move to either side, not just forward. And unlike Western chess, they don't capture diagonally like this. They just capture enemy pieces directly in front of them or directly beside them. So always captures the same way as they move originally. And again, just like in Chinese chess, when they reach the end of the board, they do not promote, but just move sideways at least. So you get the point. Okay, so now I've explained all of the normal moves. Now I'm going to show you the special moves. So the pieces like chariots, cannons, and soldiers, since they always move along the lines only, well, if they're in either of the fortress, they can move along the diagonal lines of the fortress. So maybe I'll clear this out for you. So if this chariot is in one of the corners of the fortress, you can move diagonally like that along the fortress, right? Diagonally because there's a line there. However, when you move diagonally, the movement must start from and all the way to the end of the fortress. Doesn't make sense? And you can't just move diagonally and keep going like that. You can't, because this chariot is obviously not a bishop. Remember that in Western chess. Only move diagonally along the fortress like this. And you could do it like this way as well. And I'll show you the Canons Move. Cannon has a similar move. When this cannon is in one of the corners of the fortress, you can actually jump over the general as well, because generals actually count as one different intervening piece. Jump over and land onto the other side of the fortress, like that. And just like chariot, you cannot do like this. That's illegal move as well. Only starting from and on the other side of the fortress. And also, for the soldiers, actually when you're playing as green, it's not possible to move along the lines of the fortress in your own. It's possible when it's like in every of your opponents. So if the green soldier's here, the green soldier's actually putting the red general in check, because this soldier here can also move along the lines of the fortress as well. And that's actually check. But actually, when the soldier's in the center of the fortress, this soldier has grand total of 5 different directions to go to, because the original move is like 1 space forward or 1 space either side. But this soldier can also move diagonally forward along the fortress as well. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So that's what soldiers do. That's the special move. And also, you know this type of rule. Both of the generals must never face each other along the same file. They must have at least one intervening piece like that, just to avoid major check. However, there's an exception. When I'm way down many pieces and you're just tearing me apart and all that, and my opponent starts scattering pieces everywhere, I just decide to go ahead and create the situation anyway. I can do it, and I say check because I'm putting my general in the same line as your general, and you have to move out of the way, right? I just actually forfeited my rights to create this as a draw. Isn't that crazy? That's actually a draw too. And let's say if I'm putting this green general in checkmate, but actually this is the situation where green general has to capture the red soldier and creates the situation where 2 generals face each other. And that's prevented me from getting the victory. And actually when the piece tries to checkmate the red general, if this piece is protected by this green general, that doesn't count as a checkmate. It's actually a draw too. And there's one more special thing before you start playing the game. I'll just show you real quick if I can put the pieces on the starting positions real quick. And one special thing is, from the start, before you start the game, each player can decide either to swap the positions of the horse and elephant. So maybe just this side only, or both, possibly, or like this side only. And the other player can do the same. And if you decide to swap like that, it enables elephants to move with the free path on the first move, like that. See? No trouble. Same thing with the green side. However, there's one obvious illegal example. You can't go ahead and swap the pieces to have one side with 2 horses and the other side with 2 elephants. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Instead, it's allowed, each side is allowed to have one horse and 1 elephant per side. Does it make sense? Okay, so that's Korean chess, Janggi. Thank you for watching.